Hey guys, it's Chloe, and today I am here with a brand new video. Today I am here with my February wrap-up, or my finish-up February wrap-up, and I cannot express how amazing and fantastic of a reading month I had. So for those of you who don't know, I decided to do something called Finish Up February, where I picked a couple of my unfinished books off of my TBR, and I put them into my February TBR in an attempt to finish them this month. And if you'd like to know more about that, I will link my February TBR in the description below. So I completed a total of 7 books in the month of February. That is 2 more than I finished in January, and it's mind-boggling to me that I have had 2 great reading months. And I've come to realize that I kind of missed doing TBRs, and while I don't feel restricted with these TBRs because I'm reading what I want to read. Before I get started with my stats, if you'd like to see how I did during part of my reading month, I actually just posted my reading vlog, which is from February 2nd to February 16th, and my reading during those 2.5 weeks. And if you're interested in that, I will link it in the description below. I am going to make that a monthly thing, and we'll be doing another one in March. So moving on to my stats, I read a total of 7 books. 6 of them were physical and 1 was an ebook, but I kind of didn't know how to count this one. The one ebook, I also read the physical book as well, but I kept switching. Like if I wasn't home and didn't have the book, I would read on my phone. So we're just gonna say 6 physical and 1 ebook. I did complete a total of 5 letters for the A to Z challenge, and as far as some miscellaneous stuff, it was a good mix of genres, the genres being contemporary fantasy and sci-fi, and it was just an amazing reading month. So let's go ahead and talk about the 7 books that I completed in February. So the first book I completed in February was what I was reading at the very end of January and wasn't officially a part of my TBR, and that was Zenith, the Androma Saga by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I gave this 4 stars. It was the January book of the month for Once Upon a Read Along, and we did have our live show 2 weeks ago on the 11th, so I will link that in the description below if you're interested in hearing more spoiler thoughts and feelings between myself and Kat from For the Love of Books. I ended up loving this book, and it is so hard for me to find a good sci-fi or fantasy that I actually enjoy, which is why I read so much contemporary, but I loved this. I gave it 4 stars. Absolutely amazing. The best way I can describe it is space pirates, and I know there has been a lot of mixed feelings on this book, which is why I was worried going into it, but I loved it. And this is coming from somebody who does not read a lot of sci-fi or fantasy. Loved it. The ending, oh my god, left on a cliffhanger, huge cliffhanger, and I cannot wait for the second book to come out next year. So like I said, I gave it 4 stars, and if you're hesitant about reading it, I would say go ahead and give it a try. It's definitely not what I expected at all. And it also accounted for the letter Z for the A to Z challenge, one of the hardest letters to do for this challenge, so I am so glad I got that out of the way. The next book I completed in February was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I was doing a read-along with a couple other booktubers for this book, and let me say, I had this book on my 5-star TBR predictions, and I was right on the dot because this was totally a 5-star read. I saw the trailer before I even considered picking up this book, and the trailer is what made me want to pick up this book, and it was so good. I flew through this in 2 or 3 days, and just, it was such a good contemporary, and I just loved it so much. The representation is great, and just the story overall is great, and I cannot wait to pick up the sequel, which is Leah on the Offbeat, and it comes out in April. I am ready for it. So like I said, I gave it 5 stars, and it did not count for the A to Z challenge. Next, I finally picked up one of my Finish Up February books. I only had 2 that were unfinished on my TBR, but the first one I decided to pick up was 50 Shades Darker by E.L. James. I had started this book a year ago in February of last year, right around the time this movie was coming out, and I never ended up finishing it, and I put it down, but I finished it this time, and I'm really glad that I did. You know, there's a lot of controversy that goes around this book because it's erotica, because it was started from Twilight fanfiction. A lot of controversy with this series, but I happen to like it because I am just trash for these kind of books. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and if you don't want to hear about it, then go ahead and skip ahead in this video, but I happen to really enjoy this series, and this book is starting to get into the thriller aspect of it a little bit, and I've seen all 3 movies, so the third one will definitely get into more of the thriller mystery aspect. But I am so glad that I finally got to finish this book, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. There's one more book left, and I don't know when I'm going to pick it up, but hopefully soon. I did give this 4 stars, which I believe is what I gave the first one, however long ago I read that, and it counted for the letter F for the A to Z challenge. The next book I ended up picking up was my unwrapped book for February, which if you didn't watch my February TBR, again, it's linked in the description below, but it is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, something that I thought unwrapping for February was absolutely perfect because of Valentine's Day. I haven't heard a lot of mixed things about this book. I've heard a ton of fantastic, phenomenal reviews, but then my friend Kat also read this book and wasn't a huge fan of it as far as like the main character is concerned, but I happened to love it. I thought the story was so great, just following Anna as she goes to school in Paris and learns her way around and sees all these amazing landmarks. I thought that was absolutely incredible, and I am so excited to pick up the second book, even though I know it doesn't follow the same characters, it follows somebody different. I'm so glad I finally read this book, and I can't wait to pick up the other 2 books. I gave this 5 stars, and it counted for the letter A for the A to Z challenge. So the next book I finished, which was my last book that I put on my TBR for Finish Up February, and it is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the Grisha trilogy. I started this back in September, and was just kind of about it because it was a lot of world building at first, but then I picked it up right where I left off, which wasn't even 100 pages in, and I flew through it, and I ended up really enjoying it. I think that this is one of the book series that I need to get the second book soon and read it before I lose all the information, or else I'm gonna not like the second one, so I need to do that fast. If anybody knows where you can still buy the old hardcovers, let me know, because I'm kind of nervous to buy it on Amazon in case it's not the old covers. Anyway, I ended up enjoying this. I gave it 3.5 stars. It took me a little bit to get into it because of the world building, and then the twists, I was just, I didn't know what to do. And I still don't know what to do, and I am ready for it. So this next book was not on my TBR, and I figured, you know, I have enough time to get it done. I only had 1 other book left on my TBR, but I wanted to wait to read that later, so I thought I would pick this one up because I am going to be needing to read the 3rd book next month, and it is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. First, let me start off by saying that this book is extremely long. It is 600 pages, and while it is told in a very interesting format, it is still very long. Now, I did just finish this book this morning, and oh my god, this book, without spoiling it, it is a sci-fi that's set in the year 2575, and it's in space after a rescue mission aboard a planet. It is creepy and really messed with my head. I don't know if it does with other people, but it really messed with my head, and it was very creepy. And when I finished it, for one, I was extremely happy to have finished it because it was so long. I was reading it for days, and it messed with my head so much. It was so creepy, and it's just like, it made me think, like, one day, what if the machines take over? Then what do we do? Overall, I did end up enjoying this book, as creepy as it was, and I gave it 3.5 stars. I do have the second one from the library, and I'm trying to decide if I should go ahead and start it, or if I should, like, read another book to, like, calm me down before I get back into that creepy shit. But I totally get the hype with this. It's just a lot to take in. So I did have to read this book because Obsidio, which is the final book in the trilogy, is the March book of the month for Once Upon a Read-Along. So I had to get into this quickly, but I'm glad that I finally picked this up. Like I said, I gave it 3.5 stars, and it counted for the letter I for the A to Z challenge. And finally, the last book that I completed in February, I started this right after I finished Illuminae, and I finished it about 4 hours later, and that is Wires and Nerve Volume 2 Gone Rogue by Marissa Meyer. This is the February book of the month for Once Upon a Read-Along, and our live show is actually this Sunday, March 4th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. I will leave all of that in the description below in case you are interested in joining us. I wanted to save this as the last book that I read in February because it is a graphic novel. I knew I would finish it really fast. I wanted to be able to have a lot of information fresh in my mind for our live show, so hence why I was saving it for last. This is the second and last graphic novel to the Lunar Chronicles series, and I loved it because A, it's Marissa Meyer, and everything Marissa Meyer does I absolutely love. But this is the last thing in the Lunar Chronicles that we know we are getting. And it's over now. As far as we know, it's over. And Lunar Chronicles is one of my favorite, like way up there with Harry Potter series. So I was sad and really excited to be reading this. And of course, I gave it 5 stars because hello, Marissa Meyer, and it was just glorious. And it also counted for the letter W for the A to Z challenge, but I'm hoping this is not the last that we have of the Lunar Chronicles. I really, really hope so. And again, if you would like to hear more spoilery thoughts, you can join us for our live show on Sunday, March 4th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the information is going to be in the description below in case you would like to join us. And those are the 7 books that I finished in February, and I cannot believe I did that. Absolutely cannot believe it. Not only did I complete my entire TBR, which was a big one for me, but I also finished another 600-page book in that time. But those are all the books that I completed, and that's all I have for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Down below in the comments, I need you to do me a couple things. The first one is to recommend some video suggestions, what you guys want to see on this channel. And the second thing is, let me know if there are any YA titles that start with the the obscure letters that are going to be really hard to find for the A to Z challenge. So X, V, and Q. Q is a big one. So X, V, and Q, really. YA titles that you could suggest for me to read for this challenge, because the faster I can get those out of the way, the less I will have to worry about it in the end. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to check out my vlog channel, Coalescence, it is linked in the description below. And if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so click subscribe to keep you updated for when I post those. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!